Alright, so I'll be working again tonight. So again, I won't be catching anything live except the British cards. So we'll go ahead and start with that. I'm only going to do a quick pick with Rendell Munroe versus Scott Quigg. Mostly because I'm not familiar enough to go into too much depth about either fighter. What I do know is Rendell Munroe going into this fight is going to have a serious experience advantage. What I don't know is how much that's actually going to help him against Quigg. Neither one of them have really fought what you would, what you would call world class, except for Rendell Munroe versus Nishioka. Even then, he lost that fight, lost the decision there. But I think just going to 12 rounds with him, gives Munroe a lot more experience just in that one fight than Quigg may have so far. I know he beat Booth and Jamie Arthur, which was good, but I don't know how either of those guys prepares him for Munroe. At the same time, Quigg to me appears a little bit faster, maybe a little bit stronger to me. They both do good body work. Quigg does more body work in my opinion, but Munroe can back you up to the ropes and unload on you, and he will go to the body in those exchanges as well. I just feel Quigg's the more methodical pressure fighter, while Munroe, having the experience, maybe doesn't have the skills of Quigg. So, and they're both come for forward fighters. So, I expect them to meet in the middle a lot. One guy's gonna have to back the other guy up, and we'll have to probably Quigg's gonna back Munroe up, and we'll see how Munroe handles fighting off the back foot. I doubt he handles it well, and I see a KO coming for Quigg. However long this fight lasts, Munroe versus Quigg, should be a good, exciting fight to watch. I will get to catch like I said, the British card live, and I know there's some other fights on there I could have looked up and done some vids for, but I'm gonna have to get more familiar with the British fighters. And now that I work every weekend and I catch the British fights live now instead of the American fights, I assume over the next couple months I'm gonna get familiar with some of these guys. So that's it for now for the British card. Now moving on to Chavez Jr. versus Andy Lee. The only reason I'm not bitching about this fight is because Andy Lee I think he deserves a shot at Chavez Jr. At the same time, I still don't see Lee as the kind of threat that Chavez Jr. Needs to have on his record right now. I'm not thrilled with Chavez Jr., but I think he takes this fight on body work alone. McEwen boxed Lee for a while in their fight, and then Lee came on at the end and took care of it, but he's not going to be able to afford to let those kind of slips, I suppose, against Chavez Jr., because while Lee's going to start late, it's just how he does things. That's how he works. That's how he operates. Lee's going to start later than Chavez, in my opinion, and once Chavez is allowed to get on the inside, he's just going to pummel Lee with body shots. What I want to happen is I want Lee to come out there from the opening bell and start throwing and letting his fucking hands go, because Chavez Jr. is open to be hit, and Lee is he's a strong guy. So put them heavy hands on Chavez Jr. and see how he handles it. But I got a feeling Lee's going to take a few rounds to get started, and in the meantime, Chavez Jr. is going to put in the good work and soften him up for a KO later in the fight. I want Lee to win, but I just don't see how he can. Like I said, Chavez Jr. isn't great, but in the areas where Lee might need to take this fight as far as strength and pressuring, I think Chavez Jr. handles his strength and is a better pressure fighter. Lee's going to have to box from the outside against Chavez Jr. He's going to have to work the jab, and he's got a decent jab, Lee does, but I don't think he uses it enough. And I don't think he uses it enough in this fight. We'll see. I'm rooting for Lee, but Chavez Jr. after this really needs to fight one of the top fucking guys, or my brain's going to explode every time I have to talk about a fight of his. He's pissing me off. And I haven't really looked at it too much, but the weight issue is also bothering me with Chavez Jr. Are you telling me this guy's going to jump up to 168? Chavez Jr. after this fight going to jump up to 168? He's going to get his fucking ass kicked at 168. You see how many good fighters are there at 168? He hasn't tested himself nowhere near as well as he needs to be ready for that kind of competition. So unless they plan on going up to 168 and absolutely ducking everybody they see, all right, I'm done. That's it. I'll take Chavez Jr. by body shot KO 8th in the 8th, and I'll take Quigg KO and Munroe in the 6th. And that's not saying anything against Munroe. I just think Quigg can end it. But if Munroe goes into survival mode and wants to last the 12 rounds, there might not be anything Quigg can do about it except continuously win rounds. And we'll see how that goes. But I got KOs in both ones. I pick KOs a lot. I don't care. Later, guys.